Hi everybody, it's Emily.
And Clark.
On Sailing Vessel Temptress.
And this is our April 2019 adventure log.
We're still in Georgetown, and the weather has been a little bit sucky. That's why we're shooting inside today, inside of our tiny little V-berth. The weather is very rainy, very windy, and it's either been rainy or windy, or it's been really hot. So we've kind of gotten both extremes. Hurricane season starts in about a month. We're seeing kind of this really hot weather.
Generally, we see more rain during the summer months in this part of the world. So that's starting up. We still have some fronts happening, and that sucks, but they should end soon.
And we're getting a chance to discover all the leaks in our boat.
Yeah, we got to get them solved before summer comes around.
As for general updates, we're looking for a home for Temptress on the east coast of Florida.
Yep. We are going to go back to the States for the hurricane season, do a little work on the boat before we head off for South America. And I've never taken the boat to the east coast of Florida. So we're looking for a place to store the boat. Need a safe place, either going to be a marina or an anchorage. Anybody out there have relations with a canal front property and they'd love to have someone watch their house? That could be very convenient for us.
And in other news, my work is almost done.
Yay.
I've got like probably 1 week, 10 days left of work. By May 10th, May 15th, I will be done. I will be free. All my contracts will be over. Everybody will have what they need to be without me for a while, and we are thinking about taking the boat out to Long Island, maybe the Gementos. We're kind of looking through the chart books right now and figuring out where we're going to go. We're excited to leave we love Georgetown, but we're excited to leave Georgetown and have a little bit more of an adventure before we leave the Bahamas. Right now we have till June 1st, and I think we're going to extend for another month.
Emily's been doing some planning to figure out where we want to go. We'll probably go down to the Gementos. They're fairly close to here, and we like them. It's the middle of nowhere, but it's a very pretty nowhere. And then we're going to go back to Florida by a different route since we're going to a different place. So we're going to see islands I've never sailed to before. Generally spending some time up in the northern Bahama Islands. And
we're not sure about the connectivity throughout our trip. I know the Gementos we probably won't have connectivity, but it's a great way to kick off my time without work. We won't have social media, we won't have email, it'll be a nice break. There will be beautiful diving and lots of fish, so we'll probably take lots and lots of video, and then we'll have some exciting stuff to share with you at the end of May. So more travels.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure we have some videos, and we'll have some friends release them, so something will come out every week. So Emily, how much did we spend this month?
This month we spent pretty close to $1,000, which is we try to be between $500 and $1,000 every month. More than half of that was food, for two reasons. Number one, we are on this high-fat, low-carb ketosis diet, which we do about once a year, and that requires lots of meat and lots of cheeses and more expensive foods. Peanut butter is really expensive down here.
In the Bahamas, protein is expensive.
Yeah, so, and also, when we left in January 2018, we put 12 to 18 months of dry goods, pantry items on the boat, and we've been eating through some of that, but we want to preserve some of that for our trip back home to Florida. So we're kind of stocking up and also just eating more expensively this month with the change in diet. And then we had our normal expenses, our internet, our gas, our trash disposal, all those sorts of things. We didn't eat out at all. We had no restaurant expenses.
Well, we couldn't eat out on our diet.
Yeah.
So French fries are not on our diet.
Yeah. But we ended up spending more than we usually spend on groceries and restaurants. Anyway, but we're still under $1,000.
Yep.
So let's talk about the best and the worst up front. We've got a whole bunch of projects, a whole bunch of activities, but let's talk about the best and the worst of this month first.
Well, the worst thing was losing our awning. We lost it in a storm. You probably saw that video. Emily dealt with it very, very well. Saved the boat from dragging. But now we don't have an awning anymore. Now we knew we were going to have to replace it. We knew we were going to have to make a new one before we went out. I built this awning on the beach in Tenecatita, Mexico, on the Pacific side back in 2001. So it's not exactly a new awning. But without it, we find that we don't go outside as much. We don't spend as much time outside the boat on deck. So, and the boat is a lot warmer when it doesn't have that protection.
Yeah, it's very hot. But we've been making lemonade out of it. The nice thing about this fabric is it tears really nicely, so you can cut it and tear it into squares. We've made about 10 blank white courtesy flags, so that if we're going someplace and we don't have a courtesy flag, I've got my paints and I can paint one. I also painted a new Tempter's flag. We made a cover for some screens, and we've got all this fabric left that we can do lots of things with to protect things, and yeah, it'll be a good amount of fabric. Our waist at the end was only about this much.
It's it's about 30 feet by 12 feet in its widest dimensions. It was a lot of cloth, so other people are doing projects with it on other boats. Chris has some.
Yep, we brought some to the art trail, so it is being upcycled, as they say.
Yeah, very little went into the dumpster.
There were a couple other, I would say, close seconds for worst. They were almost worst things.
What are they?
That happened. The fridge.
Oh, yeah. One night, fridge just stopped working. And I put my gauges on it and looked at it, and it looked like it had a blockage. It was odd.
And we had just gone grocery shopping.
Oh, we were just full of meat.
We bought like 18 chicken breasts or something like that, put them in the freezer, and then the fridge stopped.
Yep. And we got some help from people because it was getting dark and it was pretty blowy, I think, about to happen. So we wanted to get it in hand, and I didn't have any refrigerant left, but someone had some, so we got some from Skylark. And then some other friends loaned us a portable refrigerator, so we grabbed that, Blue Heavens, and moved all our food into it. And I looked at my gauges again and figured it out and immediately fixed it. We moved all the food right back.
Yeah. But it was good to know. Like, we called out on the radio that our fridge was not working and we needed some help, and it was like bam, bam, people were calling us, and we got it all taken care of. So
it looks like I've got a leak in the refrigeration system, a very minor leak that I guess leaks down every 12 years or so, because I haven't put gauges on that in 12 years. It's just been working. It's terrible to have to put a little bit of it every 12 years.
The other close call was we started to see roaches again this month. And then I counted back, and that poison that's supposed to last 6 months, we put out like 6 months ago. So, and it's been raining a lot, so we have this mast in the middle of the boat, and this fresh water comes down and it goes in our bilges, which is really great. They love fresh water. And we started to see little baby roaches, and I put some more poison down, and gone. Buy this stuff if you don't have this stuff, because it's
if you're on a boat or on a house or whatever, this is the stuff. It'll be down in the descriptions.
Yep. So what about the best parts of this movie?
Oh, jeez.
Although I think killing all the roaches
I think killing roaches
is
well, for me, the best thing was getting Temptress to perform properly under engine. We went down and cleaned the bottom and scrubbed it up and got all the old algae off so she could go fast. But I put a new engine on this boat, about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, but I didn't use her that much. We sail. We just sail everywhere we go. We've got 150 hours on the engine. And during those 150 hours, we've been going slow because we've had this vibration that just wouldn't go away. It could have been alignment, and it could have been propeller not fitting in the aperture exactly right. Well, I was really worried that it was the latter, but this season I took some real effort and really aligned the engine just perfectly. Anyway, we don't have a vibration anymore.
Yep. And how fast can we go now?
Well, full to the full throttle with this propeller, which is not our best propeller. We did 7 1/4 knots, and for a boat like this, that's pretty fast.
That's pretty good.
6 knots makes me absolutely happy. So 7 1/4 is just amazing.
What about projects this month?
Well, let's see. The big project was probably finishing up the hookah gear so that we could jump in the water and scrub the bottom clean. We now have
lots of growth.
Now, hookah is another name for surface supplied air. It's kind of like scuba diving without a tank. It's a long tube. So the boat has a compressor that can pump air down, and I can breathe underwater.
We got a whole video on it, so you can check it out. And our hookah you built for like $300.
Yeah.
Really cheap.
Yeah, they're usually like $3,000. So if you want a hookah ever in your life, you want to check out this video.
Other than cleaning the bottom, we've been cleaning the inside of the boat, just kind of some spring cleaning, just cleaning the kitchen, decluttering, getting rid of a lot of things, making the boat this much bigger and this much bigger, this much bigger.
We finally decided we had too many throw pillows.
And I cut up the throw pillows. I didn't cut them up. I cut the seams and I took all the stuffing out, and there was a boat that needed new pillows. So I gave them all the stuffing and they made new pillows, and I put the nice throw pillow covers away, and I'm vacuum packing them away in case you decide you want more decorative throw pillows in the future.
Well, we can put them in the treehouse once we stop sailing.
All right, we can put them in the treehouse.
Okay.
The other project is we've been trying to answer the question, how many sailors does it take to change a light bulb?
We have some lights at the top of the mast. Most of them are all working, but one that's on an awful lot is white all the way around, and it means we're anchored. Well, it didn't work this season. So we have another light on an extension cord, so we're all legal and safe, but we have to go up and fix it. Well, I sent Emily up, and I sent Emily up again, and she spent quite a bit of time up there, and she got the old bulb out, but we can't quite figure out why it's not working.
there's a wiring
So
problem.
I guess I'm going to go up the mast this week, and I'll get it fixed. If I'll either fix it up there, or I'll bring the whole mechanism down here, and we'll fix it properly. And then we will find out that it takes, apparently, 3 sailors to change a light
Hopefully
bulb.
just 3. I haven't sent him up the mast before, and I didn't feel comfortable sending him 60 feet in the air if it was just me at the bottom, so we're going to have a friend help when I do that the first time.
Yeah, it's where you really have to trust your mate, because if she lets go of one line, I fall 60 feet to my death. So
let's not do
it's
that.
not the kind of thing you want to do.
Other projects, you've been doing tons of deck boards. Our
Yep.
glue down decks are coming up, and you've been replacing one board at a time.
The boat's 50 years old, and the deck boards have just kind of worn away. Sanding them occasionally, you can love them to death, but mostly just plain worn out from use. So I keep finding the worst board and replacing it, and most of them are looking pretty good now, but I still have about another 30 or so to go.
We both crawled in here in the anchor locker because we have some nav lights that needed some electrical work and wiring, so we got those all taken care of.
Yep.
We
put a new horn in.
we put a new horn in.
We have an air horn now, all installed.
And you did some wiring at the radar as well when you were doing that, I think.
Oh, the solar panels. I had to redo that
solar
one
panel
solar
wasn't
panel.
working. And then we re-anchored closer in our bay, and there were more mosquitoes. So while we had the sewing machine out for all the canopy stuff, we patched a bunch of our screens.
Yep, so we have all the screens up to snuff now, and we will really need that when we get to Panama. I know from experience. One needs screens in Panama.
The only other thing, with all this rain, all the leaks come out, and my bunk on this starboard side gets really wet when it rains, and we figured out where the leak is. So Clark's been working. He just started patching that.
It wasn't as bad as I thought. I think it's just because your sheet was touching it and wicking
just
the water.
wick it all up.
But it's a very, very small leak. I had rebuilt that bulkhead last summer, and this is the first we really had rain on it, a lot of rain on it. So that'll be real easy to fix. I've done all the destruction, so I'll just repair it as soon as it gets dry again.
Yay!
The head of your bed, that's a bigger job.
Yep.
And then there's the head of my bed, which is a bigger job yet.
Within like a few years, we'll just have a whole new boat. We'll just rebuild the whole thing.
And then the foot of my bed, and that's all the known leaks right now.
Yeah, it's like all the leaks are in the back of the boat.
I've owned this boat for 29 years, and she's never not leaked someplace. But we're like way ahead of it now. It's going to be a pretty dry, comfortable boat after these last few fixes.
Yeah. But this has been the month of projects. We spent some time, Clark spent a lot of time helping other people. The past couple months, we were selfish and worked on our boat this month, and we got so much done.
Yeah. You have to be a very special friend to have gotten my help this month.
So let's talk about our daily life. What have we been up to?
Well, this is the month for the local Family Island Regatta, which is different than the Cruiser Regatta. It's a local event. They race the most interesting boats here in the Bahamas. They are just all keel and sail. They look like very small boats, but they have massive sails on them. And if you look at them underwater, they're just absolutely huge keels. And they rig boards going out on the side, and they have several crew out at the end of the boards to counterbalance them. They are incredibly fast. If you chase one with a dinghy, you're right up on plane, right by the sailboat, even if it's not a windy day.
Yeah.
It's really an impressive thing to watch.
If you come to the Bahamas, try and see those Bahamian sloop races, because they're just like all this sail, and it's just so majestic to watch. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch the races, we'll put a link below. There's a
Oh, good.
Facebook page for the regatta this year, and they broadcasted live. And
This will be the one with Reggie doing the commentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a friend of ours that'll be doing commentary, so you'll get to hear him.
Yep.
And, well, I'll be talking about propane. Speaking of friends, another friend on the island gave us a ride out to pick up propane, which is a big hassle this year.
We ran out in the middle of cooking dinner.
Uh-huh. And which is when you always run out,
Of course.
It's kind of by definition because you're not using propane. It's either that or middle of a shower.
Okay.
But I have one more tank on board, but it turns out I've changed some plumbing and that tank wouldn't hook up. So I had to re-plumb it back to the old style. But anyway, we have a full load of propane now, so we're good till the end of the season.
And we've decided that before we go elsewhere, we're going to get an electric induction cooktop that we can run off the inverter, so that if we were to run out of propane when we were out, days from getting more propane, we would still be able to cook.
We can use the wind generator to cook our rice so we don't have to starve to death.
Yeah.
What else have we done day to day?
Well, the normal stuff. We've been doing laundry, been teaching ukulele lessons. We've been playing music at our friend's house on a particular night of the week. So that's fun. And lots of art this month. Our friend Chris on Atlas and Sylvie on Maitre D last year started an art trail on Stocking Island. There's so many trails on Stocking Island, but there's one particular trail now where people have taken rocks and feathers and beechwood and made lots of sculptures and painted things. And so we've been continually adding art and keeping up the art on that trail. And so we made a special plaque for one of our patrons, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. But we've been adding to those little installations, and we've also made a mermaid. So actually it's a mermoctopus. Mercephalopod?
Mercephalopod?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
So I found
So she has tentacles instead of a fishtail.
Yeah, so I found a buoy back in the fall and made this mermaid head with this fishing net that I found, and we found the perfect piece of beechwood and constructed a mermaid at the end of the art trail. And if you want to name the mermaid, you can join our Patreon page. We'll start a comment thread there and we'll pick a name for her. That'll be our fun thing this month.
Yep.
What else do we talk about every month? We talk about intentional living and what that means for us and how that's evolving. And I think the biggest thing for me for intentional living as I'm looking at these explorer books and planning out the next month is there's so much that goes into planning for a trip when you're on a sailboat. It's normally a blue job. He normally does it, but he wanted me to look at it, and we're going to do it together this month. And just looking at the charts, where do you want to go? Which way is the wind generally blowing this part of the season? And where can you anchor where it's deep enough, where it's safe, where it's close that we can dinghy to things? And so we can kind of make a plan, but then if the weather changes, we're going to have to change the whole plan. And it's stressful. It's a lot of work, but
you've got to live intentionally a bit when you're out here because you could die if you don't have plans.
Can't just float
it's
around.
It's like flying an airplane. You got to know where you're going to land it.
Yeah, you can't just float around and say, let's go over here, let's go over there. Well, you kind of can, but you have to understand where things are and where the hazards are, or it's very dangerous. So I'm learning a lot about that, and not just cruising, but like actively planning.
Up till now, I've just been driving the boat, so I'm giving more and more responsibilities to Emily. When we take off next time, we are going to travel thousands of miles. We will be changing countries every time we go sailing, and we will be going from cruising guide to cruising guide for advice about where to anchor, and we're going to have to get some Lonely Planet guides and such. It'll be quite an adventure.
Yeah, so lots of planning and lots of making intentional decisions. Being intentional and not impulsive is kind of the theme, really thinking things through. So, and I think that brings us to the part of our show where we say thank you to people.
Okay.
So, thank you Skylark and thank you Blue Heavens again for your help with the refrigeration, for sure. Howard gave us a ride to get propane again this month. We love you, Howard. Aphrodite has recently given us these Explorer chart books so we can plan out our route, so thank you to them.
Thank you for watching the video, and thank you so much for those of you who've decided to be our patrons. Your names will be scrolling by.
We started this Paradise Plaque thing. Well, all our Patreons, for every $1 that they give us every month, we put their name in a hat. Well, actually, it's a virtual hat, and then I press a button, it randomly generates a name, and we're going to put a little Paradise Plaque for you on some
And this month's
island.
winner is... Zen.
Zen has been following us for a little while. I think he's an aspiring sailor. He's going to buy a boat, and he's going to be one of our Enough is Enough group organizers.
Yeah, he's supposed to organize an Enough is Enough group.
For our financial series. We really appreciate you, Zen, but we appreciate all of our patrons as well. If you want to name our mermaid this month, join our Patreon page, and we'll put you and your comments in a hat to name the mermaid. And there'll be more surprises this summer for our patrons too.
Yep.
So, but thank you all for watching and sharing in our adventure. We're going to go have some more adventures this month outside of Georgetown, and we look forward to sharing them with you in May. Bye, everybody.
Bye.